Hi, hello, my name is Jess Bagnall and I'm an indie author. Today we're going to do another Reddit video. Last time we touched on Ali's story, the ghost that attacked her sister's ankles. Today I wanted to do the haunted asylum attacked by a demon on Reddit by Ali. I wanted to have a little bit of a look at what happened at the asylum. What did her sister do to potentially provoke this ghost or this demon that has now followed them home, clearly. I haven't read this, so we're going to do this together. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and we'll just get straight onto it. Haunted Asylum attacked by spirits. My name is Ali. I'm not going to go on and on, so I'll just start. This happened a couple of days ago. My family and I went to an old asylum while on vacation. They had renovated up a bit and put a couple of stores and a restaurant inside, so my father thought it would be a nice place to visit. Ha! When we first drove into the driveway, I was overcome with dizziness. I couldn't see straight, and I could finish typing the message I had been typing before we pulled in. I think that's meant to be couldn't. As I got out of the car, the dizziness subsided for the most part, and we all went inside. It still looked like an asylum. The doors were like metal cage doors. The floor was old and cracked. The walls were old, yellowed brick, and there were entrances that were covered over with more bricks and no one could enter. As we began walking down the halls, I noticed something was off. The overall feeling in the place was just terrible. I started getting a headache, but it was only minor. I know spirits can give people headaches and stomach aches, so I was not surprised. As I said, mine was minor, but I couldn't help but notice that my sister's was getting worse and worse. So already something's been provoked just by their presence there. I'd love to know what asylum they actually went to visit. Maybe she gives the name, but that would be interesting to look at the history of this particular asylum. And why is it affecting her sister more? As we continued walking down the hall, we stopped to look at one of the stores. There was an old-looking metal door that resembled something that would only be on an animal cage. It was just pitch black, empty room on the other side. I'd mentioned to my mother the feeling that I had about the place, and so as a joke, she held me close to the cage and said, "Look in there. Do you see a ghost yet?" As they were all laughing, I stood there in shock, and there was someone on the other side of the gate looking back at me. I ripped away from her grasp and kept walking down the hall away from the cage-like door. My sister was giving me a look, so I knew she wanted to tell me something. We went off to the side and she told me that she had a terrible pounding headache. We kept walking as she told me about it, but I could see that she was getting worse, like she didn't know where she was going anymore. I took her outside of the building for a minute, helped her to help her head, and told her to pray and imagine a white light around herself. She did this and started to walk away from the building. Her headache was getting better. My father scheduled us to eat inside the building, and our table was ready, so we were forced to go back inside. She told me her headache was even worse than before, and she was about to pass out, and that the praying and the white light now made it worse. We were texting each other and she was telling me that she felt a strong pressure on her back and her head. Soon enough, I could see that she couldn't take it anymore, so I took her outside again. My parents were furious, but only because they didn't understand. Once I took her outside, she started to cry and shake, and so I took her away from the building, and we went on a walk. We went across the street and I tried to talk to her about the Lord, tell her that the Lord was with her. Her headache stopped and so did the pressure. Our parents texted us telling us that the food was here, and so we were forced to enter the building. I held her hands and prayed with her before we entered again. We ate as fast as possible and got out even before our parents did. We drove off, but she still felt uneasy, and so did I. So I've noticed actually a lot of people tend to pray if they feel like some kind of demonic pressure is on them, and everyone I've talked to about this type of thing have all said they have pictured a white light surrounded them, and it tends to get rid of the demonic feeling, the evil presence that would be there, sucking whatever life force or giving them whatever headache it was that they were having at the time. We got out of the car at our next destination, but it was almost like we were still in the asylum. My sister started crying and shaking again, and she asked me if I could make her kill herself. Wow, dark. I asked her why, and she told me that it was giving her suicidal thoughts, and that it was making her depressed and draining her energy. I took her and my mum and dad, and we all prayed together over her. As I placed my hand on her head while praying, it was weird. I could feel it there still. It had followed us there. I think it's meant to be followed them home. It thought she would be an easy target, and maybe she would have been if I wasn't there. Maybe that's what scares me the most. I'm not sure if it's gone now, but when we arrived back at the hotel, I saw and heard someone following me in the hall, so I thought it was my sister. But when I turned around, no one was there. But that could have just been a different spirit. I'm pretty used to them now. Last night, my sister and I didn't go to sleep. We were kept awake all night. Maybe we were scared, or maybe we were kept up by something else, something dark, something inhuman. I guess we'll know soon enough, won't we? Love, Ali. So, it escalated really quickly. It got dark quickly. I still want to know what asylum they actually went to. Maybe that can put into perspective why something would be attached to two young girls. And what kind of torture they did to the patients there. You've got to remember, in asylums, way back when they first originated, asylums were there for the mentally ill. For anyone presenting with any type of issues that wouldn't be deemed as norm in the society of that day, and they would torture them relentlessly. They would cage them, like they said. They would drown them. They would give them ice baths. They would electrocute them. They would literally tie them to a chair and stick a mallet into their eyeball and basically turn them into vegetables. It wouldn't surprise me if there are ghosts haunting that type of place. That does not come to any shock at all. Whether something followed them home, though, it could be entirely possible, I guess, but my questions remain. Where did they go? What asylum was it? Who could this girl following this other girl be? And why would she attach herself to two young girls? And why two? Why not just one of them? Why not the eldest, the 15-year-old Ali? Or why torment her sister the way that she did? Was she trying to escape with them? Was she trying to attach herself to these vessels to try and get out of the place that she was in? Because some spirits can be stuck by their death. They can be so traumatic that their spirits are stuck in the place that they died. Why would she piggyback home with someone else? Is there a reason she's attracted to these two girls? These are all very valid questions. I'm going to ask Ali some questions on Reddit. If I get a reply back, I will let you guys know. There is a few other questions here actually. Did anything happen after that? Did you guys find out if that thing followed you? She replied with not yet. I'm not sure if it followed us or not. We returned home from our trip Thursday. Maybe we'll find out then. And the updates continue. It didn't follow back. I don't think so. But then she posted that second story. So I'm assuming that it was a month or two later and that these other issues started happening in the house. She keeps saying things like she's praying that it will go away. I'm wondering if their religious background has any reason as to why this girl piggybacked with them. Maybe because they are able to pray and envision this white light around them that made one of the girls feel better. Maybe that's what drew her to them. Maybe the presence of their belief in God and their belief that the Lord will help them, and that white light gave this ghost a reason to try and follow her. Maybe she wants to take this nice feeling away from them that the Lord has with them. Maybe she wants a piece of it. Maybe she just wants peace. Maybe she wants to be out of the hellhole and see what other girls in this day and age are doing these days. We don't know. We'll never know, maybe. Let me know if you want any more stories from Ali. It's genuinely interesting for me, and my reactions have been very real. Do subscribe. Don't forget the bell. Check out my books on Amazon. I'll put links in the description below. Don't forget to follow me on Amazon. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.